This is the story of the Cervélo TestTeam's first pro cycling season. Of the little company that could, risking it to start the team that can. But more than that, it's the age-old tale of underdogs rising against all odds. Like a lone rider attacking the peloton in a bid to cross the finish line first. You're not going to see in-race footage or helicopter shots. But what I am going to show you is what it's like to build and be part of a pro team. My name is Joseph. I started working in the Cervélo warehouse about a year ago. Now I'm going on the road with my two pals to get behind the scenes with the Cervélo TestTeam. Sure, this is about professional cyclists, but the courageous human beings, not the media legends. But it's also the story of the mechanics, of sports directors, engineers, and the team manager, of young up-and-comers trying to make it in the big leagues, and champions looking to savor the moment again. Canada is the birthplace of Cervélo. In little over a dozen years, Cervélo has gone from a two-man operation working out of a bedroom to employing 80 people and competing across the globe. They are known for producing some of the most coveted racing bikes in the world, with a focus on innovation and performance. Behind Cervélo are two men who met at McGill University in Montreal, Gerard Vroomen and Phil White.
I'd send a letter to Johnny Bugno saying that I could probably make him faster with some positioning work that I'd done already.
Gerard was doing this project and he said, hey, do you want to give me a hand for the summer? And I hadn't done anything to do really, so I said, yeah, sure, we'll do this, have some fun.
So we built this time trial bike for Bugno eventually.
The Baraki.
Well, the Baraki is a two-man time trial, so we figured if we make the bike so aerodynamic that it's like riding with two people, that's the Baraki. His bike sponsor, of course, was not too thrilled about the idea of him using another bike, so that didn't really go anywhere, but a lot of other people who saw the bike were excited about it and interested in it and asked where they could buy it. So Phil and I thought, maybe there's a market for this.
In Montreal, it's pretty cheap to live in, so you add 50-cent bread and 50-cent noodles along to a cheap rent, you can live for pretty much nothing.
What sacrifices did you make in the early days?
None.
It took time, hard work, and a little luck. But in 2002, Cervélo landed a deal sponsoring a new professional team, CSC.
We started with them when they were 14th in the world, and we were just this tiny little North American company that no one had heard of. And both of us are ridden to be arguably top of the world.
CSC won many big races on Cervélos, but the success of the team made them attractive to bike companies with deeper pockets.
I applaud them for developing their team to be #1 in the world and for being able to command that sort of money from sponsors. But, we're still a small company compared to the big guys, and we don't have that amount of money. And if we do have that amount of money, it's far better spent on developing products that are going to help our customers.
Cervélo is the first bike manufacturer to start their own top-level pro cycling team in decades.
A lot of our partners in the bike industry had similar feelings to us, and they also were feeling that they didn't get what they needed out of traditional cycling teams, so they were very excited to come on board with this project.
Ironically, the split came during both CSC's and Cervélo's greatest victory, Carlos Sastra's win at the 2008 Tour de France. Shortly afterwards, Sastra left CSC for the Cervélo TestTeam.
2 days after the tour, I met him at the Criterium in the Netherlands and explained for 20 minutes what project we had in mind, and he said, okay, I'm in.
This is a Cervélo TestTeam, and for me every single race is a test. I'm happy to be in this team because I can do many tests. as much as I wish for be ready when I have to be ready, you know.
Joining Carlos is Norwegian Tour Hushovd, winner of the green jersey and multiple stages at the Tour de France.
So I think that was important for many riders who saw rumors that Sastre have signed on this team. Then they believe, okay, if Carl Sastre is there, the last year's Tour de France winner, I can be there.
Putting a team together, especially under such short notice, requires a tremendous amount of work. Thankfully, Phil and Gerard knew someone who could do the job. Team manager Thomas Campana.
We talked to him about it. Initially, he thought it was an extremely bad idea.
Well, simply better not to do it. Yeah, men's cycling is a different world. Our history is actually running a women's team. We did it, I think, quite successful in the last 4 years.
Campana previously ran the very successful women's team, Cervélo Life Force, which has now become an integral part of the test team.
We kept talking, and eventually he changed his mind a little bit, and so we started working on it. The fact that he's been able to put that together in just a couple months speaks volumes to how effective he is.
In the second week of January, the team gathers in southern Portugal for the first training camp. Everyone is here, including all of the supporting staff and sponsors. This is also where they introduce the team to the world.
Gerard was on the phone, he was at the Tour de France, and he said just one sentence, "Thomas, we are doing that team." And from that moment on, it was clear that my life would change and the life of many other people.
Used to be very normal in the great years of cycling, the 1940s, the 1950s, with Fausto Coppi and Bobin, all those guys. Of course, they were all originally coming from teams supported by the bike industry, and we think it's time that happens again.
The next morning, it's back to business. The team is here to get miles in the legs, and will do so under the watchful eyes of team directors, including Jean-Paul Van Poppel and Jens Zemke.
They come here, we have 14 days. We have to leave the individual trainers out, and we say we're just here for basic training.
That's the reason that we are riding with every rider. 25 we are going out for training. And yeah, that's also kind of team building here. Also the only time in the whole season where the complete team is together.
For a small company such as Cervélo, the stakes are high and the investment more than substantial. In what is shaping up to be one of the most exciting pro cycling seasons in years, it's going to be an uphill battle.
That suits us fine. We've been underestimating the Cervélo for 13 years, and you know, we've been doing okay in that position. So.